Here we are at Cat Towers on a lovely sunny day with Greg.
Isn't it just?
Lovely sunny day. And Greg has brought some of his guitars home so we can make this little feature about them. So Greg, over to you. Please can you tell us about some of your wonderful guitars?
Good evening, good afternoon. Yeah, well, as you can see, I've brought some of these home because a lot of these, well, they're in studios and lockups and whatever. So going round this part of the collection, this is the one that I suppose if anybody knows me at all for, this has been with me for a long time now. I got this in 1990 and it's actually a 1979 gold top standard, as you can see by the gold top on it, wearing nicely. It's all original, everything on it is totally as it was, apart from the machine heads were replaced before I got it. But I got this off a good friend of mine way back in the day. It's probably done over 1,000 gigs, I should think. As you can see by the back, it's had a very extensive life on the road. All the maple neck is all rubbed down. But this is my pride and joy, I guess, really. It's got a great sound. It's not a flat out full-on sonic powerful sound, it's just got that great Les Paul woody sound, and I use this a lot when I'm doing like the Brian May stuff, like when I do the kind of multi-tracking guitars, because it's got a really good hooty sound on the neck pickup. It plays absolutely amazing. It just feels like it's, you know, it's got so much life in there. From years and years of gigging, doing the Thin Lizzy thing, and it's been on every single album that I've ever recorded. And it's my go-to guitar, really, I guess, for the studio. Don't use it so much live nowadays because it's very heavy. It's one of the heaviest Les Pauls I think anybody would ever pick up, which is typical of the 70s era, but it's just amazing. And I know for a fact Pete Swan, who's a very good friend of mine who sold me the guitar, would dearly love to get it back off me, but it's not going anywhere. So that's the 79 gold top, which I absolutely adore. Moving along, this is the one that most people seem to be fascinated with, and for obvious reasons. Look at it, it's absolutely beautiful. To the Thin Lizzy fans out there, obviously it's modelled on the Robbo guitar from the 70s. Obviously his was a 60s custom. This is a 1974 anniversary custom, and it used to have anniversary written down there on the fret, but I've long rubbed that off. Again, it's had extensive road wear. The neck twisted, it had to be reshaped, had to be resprayed. It's had a lot of work done to it because it has had some serious use over the years. And in actual fact, what makes this guitar interesting, two things: it actually started life as a wine red anniversary, not a black. And it was resprayed somewhere along the line and ended up with the suite. So this used to be, I think it was Mal McNulty's, so the person told me. I don't know, I'm going to speak to Andy about it when I see him next, because I keep promising to take it down and show him. But this used to be in the suite kind of empire at one time before I got it. And again, it's an amazing guitar. This has been used on kind of more kind of solo stuff. It's on the new album on a track called Unicorn, which I use this with the wah wah, and it just phenomenal sound. And again, I really love it. It's a really lovely guitar. 74 custom. I mean, it's becoming very valuable. And yeah, that's another winner. Moving along to the third one, which is, this is what we call a secret weapon. This is a 76 Deluxe with a mahogany neck, not the maple neck. It's got the MIDI pickups, which Mick Wilson and me love very much indeed. This records like an absolute beast, and we've used this a lot on the new album. So this, you'll hear this all over the new album, Day Trip to Narnia, which will be out later this year. And this is what we call a track guitar, where I'll use this in combination with another Les Paul or a Telecaster or something else, and this just sits in with it, and we double track it so we get the kind of full spectrum of sound. And this has got a fantastic kind of mid wiry, distorted sound that when you sit it in the mix, it just really sings. And as you will hopefully hear, it's a beautiful guitar. And again, it's a 76, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. This is one of 2 deluxes. I'll show you the other deluxe when we're up at the studio, because he's living up there at the minute because we're using him. And that's a slightly later one, but it's the same configuration. But again, Les Paul Deluxes in the studio are just a go-to guitar for me. So that's that one. Moving along. This is my latest purchase, which I only got last autumn, and this actually debuted on the Cats tour, Scarecrow tour. And again, it's a 70. Well, it was made in 78, but it's got a 79 stamp, I think. But it's actually a 78 tobacco standard, ever so slightly thinner than a lot of guitars for the time, which is quite nice. Again, phenomenal guitar, great sound. It did well on the tour. In fact, I used this on the Deep Purple tour and the Quo tour. It was actually my go-to guitar for the tour, just because I wanted to, you know, give it some road wear and test it all out. But again, it's got the classic T-top pickups, all original. It's had a lot of use over the years, and I got this because it's the nearest thing I could get to my very first Les Paul, which I foolishly sold back in the crazy 80s, because I actually had a 1980 tobacco, and for some stupid reason I sold it, and I regretted it, and I've regretted it ever since. But this, the minute I saw it, was the nearest thing I've ever seen to my 1980. So very pleased to have that in the camp, and again, being used on the new album. It did a couple of solos. It's been used on a track called Tragic Alter Ego, and a couple of other songs it's been on as well. So that's been on the new album. You'll hear a lot of that. And then this is the one that I suppose gets all the attention, as you can see. Again, mainly a live guitar, funny enough. I don't actually use this as much in the studio, weirdly enough, but live it does everything. So this is my main live guitar. It's a flame top, curly flame top, and there's a lot to talk about on this guitar, which I'll try not to bore you all to death with. But this is a 1989, which is kind of out of my remit, to be honest. But it's only a standard. It's just a straightforward Les Paul standard, but with this amazing figured top. So it's not a custom shop. It's not a signature model. It's just a standard, but they put this top on it. And I got it from a guy in New Jersey in America who got it from Richie Sambora's guitar tech, who sadly died, and apparently Richie gave it to him. So we think it was, well, he told me that this was a Richie Sambora Les Paul that he gave to his guitar tech. And a friend of mine has kind of half verified that story, because it all ties up with the date line and the people involved and the wife of the guitar tech who sold it, and it all kind of stacks up. But I'm hopefully going to get Richie to look at this when he's in England, because Rick up at Rick's Guitar Emporium in Chelsea, he's very good friends with Richie, so he said next time he's over bring it up and we'll see what he says. But as you can see, it's a phenomenal guitar. It's pretty valuable, to be honest. So it's my go-to live guitar. Love it. Look at that top there. Just get a close up of that. Just wonderful. And it's actually quite light for a Les Paul. So me getting weary in my older years, I find it a lot easier to use live than the Beast. Okay, moving along to a few more of the different guitars. This is my Levinson Telecaster, which I've got an endorsement with Levinson, so I'm very lucky to have this. This is a very top end model. It's the kind of high end Telecaster that they do, and again it just does everything. It's got like the standard three-way configuration, but it's also got like a built-in preamp, so you can cut and boost and add more to it. But in the studio, it just really, this played 259. That choppy guitar that you hear on the intro is all this, and this also backed up some of the Les Pauls on Scarecrow as well. But I haven't used it on the new album at all. shock horror, because as you'll find later on, I use Mick's 62 reissue Telecaster, which is phenomenal, and it just sounded really good with the Les Pauls, so we didn't want to bugger about with the mix of that. But yeah, that's another cheeky little weapon, that one. Moving along to this one, this is a Flying V, but check the back, look at that, beautiful. But this is actually an Antoria, so it's actually a Gibson copy that they made in the 70s out of the Fuji factory, which is owned by Ibanez. So what they did, it's basically an Ibanez V, they rebadged it Antoria for the UK market, so therefore it's classed as a copy. But as anyone would tell you that knows about these guitars, these are better than the Gibsons of the same era. This is a 73, which makes it really old. It's all, again, all original. It's got these crazy Maxon pickups, which are very high output, and those alone are really sought after nowadays. It's got the strings going through the body, so it's, you know, based on the same design as the Les Pauls. And again, I don't use it much, but this was used on 5 Minute Celebrity off the first album, and he doesn't come out often, whereas the cat does. See, the cat always has to get in, gets in everything I do. But yeah, that's a really nice guitar. Choo Choo likes it, as you can tell. Moving along to my Explorers. Oof. So here we have, hold on a minute, I have to work this one out. This is a 1990 Explorer. Again, all standard, but I've changed the pickup surrounds and the knobs because I like that cream and gold configuration. Beautiful guitar, yellowing beautifully. I've used this. This did play on the first album, didn't do anything on Scarecrow, but me and Dean have had a bit of a word, and we both like Explorers quite a lot, and we think we might bring these out on the road on the next Cats tour, just for a bit of glamorama. But again, really, really nice guitar. They look quite cumbersome to play, but they're actually quite easy to play. And because there's so much wood there, you get a really good sound out of them. They really ring. In fact, these guitars sound great clean. You think they'd just be like a big distorted metal guitar, but they're not. They actually sound really good clean as well, because of the amount of wood. So that's the 90 Explorer. And then, oh, this is Rascal. Can you get that? Can you see that? This started life as a, again, I've got to check the numbers because I can't remember. I think I'd know these, but I can't. So I think it's about 2005. And I basically got the body and the machine heads and the pickups, and that was it. So I had to put all the other bits on it, so I bought it as like an incomplete guitar. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have it resprayed something wacky? So Jonathan at Feline Guitars in Croydon, hello Jonathan, his sprayer had just brought in this new kind of metallics finish. So I said, let's try it. I mean, there is tons and tons of paint on there, as you'll appreciate, Andy, being an artist. There's layer upon layer upon layer of glitter, kind of almost like a lacquer, and it builds up this beautiful deep finish that obviously under the lights looks amazing. And then we just did the front and left the sides and the back as the original. So yeah, just a bit of fun. I call it the Liberace because it sparkles like me. And again, phenomenal sounding guitar, that. So I think this might be appearing live. It's quite a brave guitar to take that on the road when you're not a wacky punk, you know. But I think Cats in Space can warrant playing that live. What do you reckon?
Absolutely.
So add a bit of glam to the proceedings.
Yep.
See what you can do, the Phil Lynott thing. You get the old light reflecting on the old mirror there, and I can single out all the chicks, man, or the fellas. Depends what mood I'm in. So that's my yeah, that's the Gibson Liberace, as we call it. Well, I thought to end with, we'd show you this beast, which is one of two that I've got. This is a 77 Ibanez double neck, or twin neck, which is obviously again based on the Gibson back in the day at the Fuji factory. They were making exceptionally good copies, so much so that Gibson put what they call lawsuit onto Ibanez and had to alter how they were making their guitars. So up until '76 they were making straight Gibson copies with the headstocks the same. Gibson stopped them from using the headstock, which was copyrighted, to change it to this one, which came out in '77. So they call it the post-lawsuit Ibanez. Again, it's got these Maxon pickups that are just phenomenally amazing. The only difference with this and a Gibson is this is a bolt-on neck, or a pair of bolt-on necks, and obviously the Gibson ones would be a straight-through neck. And a Gibson one from the 70s now, you're looking at $4.5 to $6 grand, depending on what kind of model it was. And these are going up in price as well, but they just sound amazing. And I used this on the very first Cats gig at Putney, on a track called Schoolyard Fantasy, which you might know from the album. Which just sings, even with that being plugged in. Bit sparse out that, innit? Listen to that, it's the sustain on that. But this is a beautiful guitar, I really like it. So this gets used when I want to do the pingy, like electric-y stuff. It's not used on the new album. It was used on Scarecrow on a couple of tracks. I can't think which ones off the top of my head. Scarecrow, the title track, it was on that. Oh, and it was used on Jupiter Cooling as well, all that wacky middle bit. But my other one, which you'll see later up in Nick's studio, is being used on the new album. And that's a slightly older model. That's the pre-lawsuit one, which I'll talk about when you see that. But again, a lot of people seem to be fascinated by this, mainly because it's got two necks. But again, just a really, really, really good guitar, and I was very fortunate to get it. And for the discerning viewer there that knows the Ibanez, see these aren't original. These are in fact a set of Paul Stanley PS10 machine heads that are exclusive on the Paul Stanley Ibanez, which again I've got one which I'll show you up at the studio, and these machine heads are super rare. So I can't quite work out whether or not these were put on at the factory because they just had a set lying around, or whether or not the person that owned this guitar before me actually had a set and he put them on. But either way around it, those machine heads alone have added probably about 1/3 of the value to the guitar. It's crazy. But yeah, beautiful guitar. I don't use it very much because that is a heavy thing to operate. But yeah, what do you reckon about that? And that's all we've got here at the minute. All the others are in various locations, in various studios that we've been in for the last God knows how long. So yeah, that's the rundown of some of my guitars. Let's go back to the Gold Top again, because that's my pride and joy. And I shall see you all probably in the studio, see you out on the road, and I'll probably be doing a lot more waffling yet. So there you go, a little trip around some of my guitars. Hopefully you haven't all fallen asleep. Right, continuing on from the guitar collection, this is the one that was in the studio that I didn't have at home. So as you can see, it's another Les Paul Deluxe. This time it's a 1979, so it has the maple neck, which they changed to, not the mahogany neck. Again, all are absolutely original. Interesting thing about this one, it's cherry sunburst, as they were, but you can see the fade, which has made it go to this unbelievably lovely honey colour. So it's either it was sprayed very light back in the day and it's just faded very quickly, or it's been exposed to some extreme sunlight. Might have been in Vegas for a few years, you never know. But this is a new acquisition. I've only had this a short while, but it has been used again quite a lot on the new album because it's got the twangy humbucker sound, which I love, especially when both pickups are on this particular guitar, and plays like an absolute beaut.
It's in very good condition as well for a guitar that's 39 years old. And yeah, this was bought as a little investment a while ago. So I'm going to play it on the album, and this might even get sold on at some point. Someone might be able to buy this, because you can only have so many guitars, he said. But anyway, yes, that's the last of the Les Pauls. There are actually 2 more Les Pauls which haven't been used on the album yet, and even they might come out. And that's before we get to Dean's guitars, who's, as you know, he's got a few as well. So yeah, that's the 79 Deluxe. I just love them. Just love these Deluxes. And here, Beauty. It's a Cats in Space Beauty. So yeah, and it's blooming hot out here. Lovely day.